What is your best I can't believe I never noticed that before moment? You know Whoopi Goldberg has no eyebrows? You'd think if a person had no eyebrows, it'd stand out. Also, her character in The Lion King has no eyebrows. I'll never be able to not notice that now. The man in the yellow hat resembles a banana. He hangs out with a monkey. I realized this when I was 26. Well, I'll be damned. 2 nights ago I leaned in to kiss my wife and noticed that she had developed freckles on her nose, seemingly from nowhere. When I pointed it out, she told me that she has had them her whole life. Now, not only have we been together for 3 years, but before that we attended the same school for a number of years as well. At no point have I noticed these freckles. Her family and friends backed her on this, so I must have somehow missed these freckles for over a decade. It's not the best, but I've been wearing this coat since 2006 and just discovered it has an inside pocket. I once bought a jacket for $5 at a garage sale and there was a $1 bill in the inside pocket. $4 jacket. I bought a $900 leather recliner without ever sitting in it. When I finally got it at my house, I removed it from the box and put it in the living room. This particular style of chair didn't have the handle on the side of the chair. You had to just grab the armrests and push your back into the chair and the footrest would pop out. Seeing as how it was new, it was quite tight and had to be broken in. After a couple of months of it still being very difficult to get the footrest out, I decided something was wrong with it. I didn't have the receipt for the chair and I didn't feel like hassling with fighting to return exchange it, so I just lived with it. Whenever I wanted to recline, I'd just stand up, grab the footrest by hand and give it a quick jerk to pull it out. Was a bit annoying, but it worked well enough. Fast forward 2 years. I'm looking for the TV remote and can't find it anywhere. I reach in between the armrest and the seat cushion of the chair and find what feels like a carabiner. I grab that carabiner and pull it out, apparently pretty hard, and the footrest flies out and smashes into my shins. I lose my crap at this point and can't freaking believe it. I'm so goddamned excited. I'm shouting to my wife to come watch me work my chair. I'm the happiest dumb butt in the world at this point. It took me 2 years to learn how to use my $900 recliner, and that made me happy. The craziest part of the story is you dropped $900 on a chair without ever trying it out first, and then when you thought it was broken you just said, "Hey, frick it." I bought coconut oil in Grenada. It was a pretty light see-through yellow color and so smooth and delicious. When I grabbed my check bag and opened it to present the golden liquid to my friends, it was all cloudy and solid and gross. For years I assumed some crazy change happened because of the altitude air pressure in the cabin. Then I saw some at the grocers because it's hip to buy coconut oil now. Turns out it's just freaking hot on an island. Not so much here in New York. I'm an idiot. If you still have some, warm it up. It makes great lube. Ajax's slogan is stronger than all Greece. Ajax, the warrior, was stronger than all Greece. I like this one. When I was 12 I suddenly came to the realization that Han Solo and Indiana Jones looked more than a little similar. Happened to me with Dave Grohl. Went to my brother, "Did you know the lead singer of the Foo Fighters?" He cuts me off and says, "Yeah, he was the drummer in Nirvana." I was going to say really looks a lot like, so I was saved some embarrassment there. I realized that Eminem called himself that because his initials are M and M for Marshall Mathers. I felt dumb when that it took me so many years to figure that out. I only noticed it when I listened to Bad Guy, Eminem killed by Eminem, Matthew Mitchell, B. I even have your initials. Hover over the snoo on this subreddit. Also, didn't realize he was called a snoo. The word disc can be spelled disc or disc and they have different meanings depending on the spellings. For anyone wondering, disc, magnetic storage media, like floppy disks, and hard disks. Disc, optical storage media, like CDs, compact disc. They're generally interchangeable in most circumstances though, since people will probably know what you're talking about from context. In the Tostitos logo, the T's are people sharing a bowl of salsa dip over the I. Woo wow. The day I realized there was more to Minesweeper than randomly clicking boxes hoping not to land on a bomb. Don't worry, I used to think you wanted the high score in hearts. Read rhymes with lead, but read rhymes with lead. On a similar note, I used to pronounce Reddit as read it instead of read it. Boy did I feel dumb. It still blows my mind how long it took me before I realized that Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and the alphabet song have the same melody. I did not realize that until just now. In Saved by the Bell, Mr. Belding's name was Mr. Belding. I always thought Belding was a normal surname. Is that what they mean by the bell? The fact that the word laser is an acronym. Light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. I used to think Ray-Ban sunglasses were some highfalutin fancy name, until I realized it was Ray-Ban. Might as well be sun be gone. It took me 2 months to realize one of the 18 people that I work with doesn't have a left hand. Not me, but yesterday my girlfriend and I were driving and I mentioned culturing bacteria in a Petri dish. She said, "You mean Peachtree dish?" She was flabbergasted when I proved to her this wasn't correct. She's still upset, even though last week we went through this same ordeal with windchill versus windshield factor. The show was called Step by Step because they were all step siblings. I didn't realize this until a decade after it went off the air. I try to think about it day by day. Just last night, watching a commercial for Ore-Ida Tater Tots. Ore-Ida stands for Oregon and Idaho. BOOOOM. Mind blown. The last person listed in the opening credits of a movie is the director. London Tipton from The Sweet Life was a parody of Paris Hilton. Well, a Disney version of a parody. Clouds and bushes in Marrow are the same thing, just different colors. I have the cloud to butt extension on Chrome and was momentarily very confused. The second hand on the clock app on iOS 7 is constantly moving. Wait, I know a thing. Hold your finger down so the icons start wiggling. Now look, the second hand goes tick-tock instead of being smooth. The Beatles is a pun. It is spelled Beatles instead of Beatles. Beat equals music, etc. I always thought that the slogan "Trust Sleepies for the rest of your life" meant to use their brand until the day you die. Last year I realized they meant the rest, as in sleep of your life. Her haircut, every dang time. I drove my girlfriend to her last haircut, still didn't notice she got one. Soda is called a soft drink because it doesn't have alcohol in it, as opposed to hard drinks that do, such as Mike's Hard Lemonade. Isn't it weird that pizzas are round, but their boxes are squares, and their slices are triangles? I work at Jet's Pizza. Our pizza is square with square pieces in a square box. A shepherd is shorthand for sheepherder, one who herds sheep. Breakfast is breaking your fast, absence of food, from the day before. On a sort of related note, long ago in England, there was a position of authority known as a reeve. It was essentially a dude who enforced the commands and edicts of the local lord. Counties were called shires, so the reeve in charge of the local county was known as a shire reeve. This is where the word sheriff comes from. Spoons are mini bowls poured directly in my mouth. Bowls are large spoons poured directly into my mouth. Kim Possible's upper lip looks like a mustache. You literally cannot unsee the scrap. I had a professor who was very instrumental in my academic career. When he retired, I was invited to his surprise retirement party. When I finally saw him, he came up to me and had a friend standing next to him. The conversation went something like, "Fig Newton, I want you to meet Joe. He is my partner. Doctor, professor, I didn't know you ran a business. I don't." Afterwards, I was talking to a classmate of mine and she was like, "How could you not know he was gay?" And then suddenly all the signs were there. That Hannah Montana was actually Miley Cyrus wearing a wig. In the Fellowship of the Ring, after Frodo was stabbed by the Wraith, they stop in a small clearing next to some rocks. If you look closely, those rocks are the 3 trolls Bilbo turned to stone. You can notice this easier by listening to Sam get up against the camera and say, "Look, Mr. Frodo, I tease Mr. Bilbo as trolls." When I realized that adults are still kids who have to do mature things. I just realized they call it to kindle fire because you kindle a fire. It took me years to realize that the word bed looks exactly like a bed. And the word shark looks kinda like a shark. The arrow next to your gas gauge is pointing to the side where you pump your gas. Would have been helpful for all of the rental cars I used to use for work. As it turns out, a schooner is a sailboat. I still don't see it. It took me forever to notice that the US Postal Service logo was an eagle. It took me way too long to figure out the every kiss begins with K. I never got the more hidden kiss begins with the letter K thing. Initials are called initials because they are the initial letters of your first and last name. Sound of mind being blown. With regards to Valve, the game company, it's called Steam because steam comes from valves. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.